सेवया
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati
भगवती उत्तमश्लोके
Bhaktir Bhavatir Naishtikim.
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकीम्.
Thank you for joining. Thank you everyone for joining. And today we'll be reading from chapter 9, which is titled The Most Confidential Knowledge, and verse number 11. So please repeat after me. Avajananti mam mudha
अवजानन्ति मां मूढा
manushim tanumashritam
Manushim
तनुमाश्रिताम्
param bhavam ajananto
Param
भावम् अजानन्तो
mama bhuta maheshwaram
Mama
भूतमहेश्वरम्.
avajananti mam mudha
Avajananti
अवजानन्ति मां मूढा
manushim tanumashritam
Manushim Tanuma
तनुमाश्रितम्
param bhavam ajananto
Param
भावम् अजानन्तो
mama bhuta maheshwaram.
Mama
भूतमहेश्वरम्.
Please, if anyone wants to repeat the verse, please go ahead.
Avajananti Mudha
अवजानन्ति मां मूढा
Manushim Tanumasritam
मानुषीं
Tanumashritam
तनुमाश्रितम्.
Param Bhavam Ajanando
परं भावम् अजानन्तो
Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram
मम
Mahabhuta
भूतमहेश्वरम्.
Maheshwaram
अवजानन्ति मां मूढा
Avajananti mam mudha
मानुषीं तनुमाश्रितम्.
manushim tanumashritam
परं भावम् अजानन्तो
param bhavam ajananto
मम भूतमहेश्वरम्.
mama bhuta maheshwaram. Anyone else? All right, thank you very much. We'll read the word for word translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki
जय.
jai. Avajananti,
अवजानन्ति
deride. Mam,
मां
me,
मे
mudha,
मूढा
foolish men,
foolish men
manushim,
मानुषीं
in a human form,
in a human form
tanum,
tanum
body,
body
ashritam,
ashritam
assuming,
assuming
param,
param
transcendental,
transcendental
bhavam,
bhavam
nature,
nature
ajananta,
ajananta
not knowing,
not knowing
mama,
mama
mine,
mind
bhuta,
bhuta
everything that be,
everything that be
maheshwaram,
maheshwaram
supreme proprietor.
supreme proprietor.
Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Fools deride me
Fools deride me
when I descend in the human form.
when I descend in the human form.
They do not know my transcendental nature
They do not know my transcendental nature
and my supreme dominion over all that be.
my supreme dominion over all that be.
I'll read the purport. It's a very long purport. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. From other explanations in the previous verses in this chapter, it's clear the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although appearing like a human being, is not a common man. The personality of Godhead, who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the complete cosmic manifestation, cannot be a human being. Yet there are many foolish men who consider Krishna to be merely a powerful man and nothing more. Actually, he is the supreme personality, as is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna, he is the supreme Lord. There are many Ishwaras, controllers, and one appears greater than others. In ordinary management of affairs of the material world, we find some official, a director, and above him there is a secretary, above him a minister, and above him a president. Each of them is a controller, but one is controlled by another. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said, Krishna is the supreme controller, and the many controllers undoubtedly both in the material and spiritual world. But Krishna is the supreme controller, Ishvara Parama Krishna, and his body is Satchidananda, non-material. Material bodies cannot perform the wonderful acts described in the previous verses. His body is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Although he is not a common man, the foolish deride him and consider him to be a man. His body is called here Manushim because he is acting like a man, a friend of Arjuna, a politician involved in the battle of Kurukshetra. In so many ways, he's acting just like an ordinary person, but actually his body is Satchidananda Vigraha, eternal bliss and knowledge absolute. This is confirmed in the Vedic language also, Satchidananda Rupaya Krishna. I offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is eternal blissful form of knowledge. There are other descriptions in the Vedic language. Tam ekam govindam, you are Govinda, the pleasure of senses and the cows. Satchidananda Vigraham, and your form is transcendental, full of knowledge, bliss, and eternality. Despite the transcendental qualities of Lord Krishna's body, its full bliss and knowledge, there are so many so-called scholars and commentators of the Bhagavad Gita who deride Krishna as an ordinary man. The scholar may be born an extraordinary man due to his previous good work, but this conception of Sri Krishna is due to poor fund of knowledge. Therefore, he is called Mudha, for only foolish persons consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being because they do not know the confidential activities of the Supreme Lord and his different energies. They do not know Krishna's body is a symbol of complete knowledge and bliss, and he is a proprietor of everything that be, and he can award liberation to anyone. Because they do not know Krishna has so many transcendental qualifications, nor do they know the appearance material world is a manifestation of his internal energy. He is the master of the material energy. As he has explained in several places, Mama Maya Duratya, he claims that the material energy, although very strong, is under his control, and whoever surrenders unto him can get out the control of this material energy. If a soul surrendered to Krishna can get out of the influence of material energy, then how can the Supreme Lord, who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the whole cosmic nature, have a material body like us? So this conception of Krishna is complete foolishness. Foolish persons, however, cannot conceive the personality of Godhead Krishna just appearing like an ordinary man, can be the controller of all the atoms and gigantic manifestation of the universal form. The biggest and the minutest are beyond their conception, so they cannot imagine that a form like that of a human being can simultaneously control the infinite and the minute. Actually, although he's controlling the infinite and the finite, he is apart from all this manifestation. It is clearly stated concerning his yogam aishwaryam, his inconceivable transcendental energy, that he can control the infinite and finite simultaneously, and he can remain aloof from them. Therefore, the foolish cannot imagine how Krishna, who appears like a human being, could control the infinite and the finite. And those who are pure devotees accept this, for they know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, they completely surrender unto him and engage in Krishna consciousness, devotional service of the Lord. There are many controversies among impersonalists and the personalists about the Lord's appearance as a human being. But if we consult Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the authoritative text for understanding the science of Krishna, then we can understand Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not an ordinary man. Although he appeared in the earth as an ordinary human being, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, when the first sages inquire about the activities of Krishna, it is stated, his appearance as a man bewilders the foolish. No human being could perform the wonderful act that Krishna performed while he was present in this earth. When Krishna appeared before his father and mother, Vasudeva and Devaki, he appeared with 4 hands. But after the prayers of the parents, he transformed himself into an ordinary child. His appearance as an ordinary being is one of the features of the transcendental body. In the 11th chapter of the Gita, also it is stated, Taineva Rupena, etc. Arjuna prayed to see again that form of 4 hands, and when Krishna was thus petitioned by Arjuna, he again assumed his original form. All these different features of the Supreme Lord are certainly not those of an ordinary human being. Some of those who deride Krishna, who are infected with the Mayavad philosophy, quote the verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam to prove Krishna is just an ordinary man. Aham sarveshu bhuteshu bhutatmavastita sada. The Supreme Personality is present in every living entity. We should better take note of this particular word from the Vaishnava Acharyas like Jiva Goswami, instead of following the interpretation of unauthorized persons who deride Krishna. Jiva Goswami, commenting on this verse, says that Krishna, in his plenary expansion as Paramatma, is situated in the moving and non-moving entities as supersoul. So any neophyte devotee who simply gives his attention to the Archamurti, the form of the Supreme Lord in the temple, and does not respect other living entities, is uselessly worshipping the form of the Lord in the temple. There are 3 kinds of devotees of the Lord. The neophyte is the lowest stage. The neophyte devotee gives more attention to the deity in the temple than to the other devotees. So Jiva Goswami wants that this sort of mentality should be corrected. A devotee should see that Krishna is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma. Therefore, everybody is an embodiment of the temple of the Supreme Lord. And as such, one offers respect to the temple of the Lord. He should similarly, properly respect each and everybody in whom Paramatma dwells. Everyone should be given proper respect and should not be neglected. There are also many impersonalists who deride temple worship. They say that since God is everywhere, why should one restrict himself to temple worship? But if God is everywhere, is he not in the temple or in the deity? Therefore, the personalists and impersonalists will fight with one another perpetually. A perfect devotee in Krishna consciousness knows that although Krishna is the Supreme Personality of personalities, all pervading, as is confirmed in Brahma Samhita. Although his personal abode is Goloka, Vrindavan, and he's always staying there, still by his different manifestations of energy and by his plenary expansion, he is present everywhere in all parts of the material and spiritual creation. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I'll stop the invocation there because we already spent a lot of time reading the purport. And so this verse has to be read in conjunction with the previous verse, which Mataji explained so nicely. The previous verse is Maya Dikshana Prakriti Suyete Sacharacharam Etuna Nena Kanteya Jagat Viparivartate. This material nature, which is one of my energy, is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and highlighted again and again. Yesterday, Mataji explained so nicely how this is done. Like everything is moving and moving, like the entire planetary systems, like she described how everything is held in its place. It's all done by Krishna's energy. She also described like what is actually mentioned in this purport about the different kinds of Ishwaras. like how there are like a controller for everything, but everyone is subordinate to somebody else, and it's Krishna who controls everything. He's the supreme controller. Like, so those 2 points were explained by Mataji yesterday. But what Krishna is telling here in this verse is like Krishna, what he's saying is he descends in human form, but the foolish, those who do not know him, they think he's just a mere human being. So, and there are many reasons why this happens. Many of them, like, because they're, one of the reasons, like, is he says, like, they have most of the people who do this are actually scholars, and they do that because in spite of the previous, they're able to study the Bhagavad Gita and write all this because the previous good karma, but because they do not have enough knowledge, or they're too proud, or they are actually they're actually influenced by the Mayavad philosophy, because of which they cannot accept Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. Actually, most of the thing, like because they're part of the Brahman, and if Krishna comes down as as a human being, they themselves can become part of the Brahman. They're equal to Krishna. So Krishna is nothing. He's same as Krishna, and Krishna is nothing. Nothing important, like, or just another person. That's what happens. And now Krishna says, like, in the purport, Krishna says he appears because of his internal energy, which is called as also Yoga Maya, and this material energy, although very powerful, is actually under the control, his control. He manifests everywhere, in each and every atom, as Paramatma. He's aloof from it. That's what Sanatana Goswami explains in his. That's how Sanatana Goswami explains it. Now, when we come to like we have to understand, like, like most people, like here, they think, like, when they hear about Krishna, what do they think? It's some character in the Hindu mythology. You have to very, like, the mythology, like, that's it's mythology. They think it's a myth. It's a myth, and actually we can't blame them. Even like when Krishna was present, they were like great character, like great beings, like extreme, like evolved beings, like Brahma, Indra. They thought like Krishna was like an ordinary child, and they were like they could not understand Krishna, and they were so proud of their own positions, and they tried to teach Krishna as lesson. And we know what happened. Like, Brahma, we have that the whole pastime of how Brahma hid the cowherd boys and the cows, and then how Krishna, like, expanded himself as a cowherd boy and each cow, and he was like, everything was going on normally, and all the residents of Vrindavan, they thought nothing for them, there was no difference. And Brahma got very confused, and he saw, like, he went and looked, all the people, the cows and cowherd boys whom he had kidnapped were there where he had hidden them. They were sleeping peacefully. And then he goes back and sees in Vrindavan, there's still, everything is happening. And then he came to his senses, and he realized that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Similarly with Indra, Indra, like, he tried to stop the Govardhan Puja, and with his rain, thunder, lightning, and all that. And then Krishna protected the residents of Vrindavan, for all the 7 days when this great deluge was happening. And the thing is, because of Yoga Maya, they did not even think like Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. But that's different, when you're like when your bhakti is at the topmost level, Krishna is not God. He's your friend, and he just treats you like just as you treat an ordinary friend. And then again, the same time we have like people like who Duryodhana or Shishupal, who did not, they were evil, you know, like they were not willing to accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead because of their pride, arrogance, and because they were plain evil people. And they had to be killed. They were not even forgiven. They had to be killed, you know, like, so you can see it was happening when Krishna was actually present. So these days, when Krishna is not even amongst us, you know, we can't really blame people for what they think of Krishna. You know, like it's just mythology for them. It happened so many years, and you know, they have no way of the miracle of Srila Prabhupada comes in. He came to the he came here in the Western world. He started chanting. He didn't say any philosophy. He didn't give them any. He didn't give any knowledge of Krishna. Nothing. He just started chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And because of his saintly nature, or you know, because he was like what do you call it? He was the Nitya. Like I'm not getting the word for it. He was like the Shaktavesha avatar, or whatever you call him. Like, and so because, okay, let's call it saintly nature. He was able to influence people in listening to you know, his chanting, you know, and because of his pure chanting, like so many hearts were purified. They started listening to his whatever little, you know, he had to say. So that's that. So when that happened, you know, they started chanting, and then when you start chanting, then Krishna sitting in your heart, you know, he gives you the knowledge. What in chapter 10, right? 10, chapter 10, verse. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So actually, in a way, they were actually, they were actually serving Srila Prabhupada. They were not serving Krishna directly, but whatever is done to a pure devotee of the Lord, Krishna considers it as you know, you're serving him. And then he gave them the knowledge. He gave them the inquisitiveness to like study the scriptures further. He gave them so they got better understanding of it. And you can see all the associates of Srila Prabhupada, like they led the movement, and like and it's been going on, like, you know, it's getting stronger and stronger each year, and it's all because of Srila Prabhupada and his you know, his direct associates, and we can see, like if we can see that you know, in most of us, like when we first come into the movement, we also start having doubts, you know, like whether this is real, this is not. Just think about it. If this is not really true, then Krishna is just an ordinary person. Whatever Srila Prabhupada or no, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj and his guru, all Rupa Goswami and all that, whatever they were saying would be like, you know, all their experience in the writings would be like nothing, you know, like all. And you have to understand, like they're not like ordinary people. They're all like towering personalities that they were great personalities, and they wrote down all their experiences of chanting or what they feel. They wrote down everything, and they didn't really write it down so you know, so big they could get some brownie points, or they were not trying to advertise themselves, or they didn't want to be worshipped as some great acharya or something. They did it so like they were genuinely feeling that, you know, like Rupa Goswami, like in one of his works, he says like, when I chant, I get the feeling that my tongue should be multiplied so that I get more joy. My ears should be multiplied so I can hear the chanting from every ear. I mean, he describes his, he gets so much joy from chanting. That's what that's what he's trying to describe. That's what he's trying to tell everyone. So and even even those who have been in the movement, like, we know, like when we chant, it's like different. Like, we chant like when the first time we ever started chanting, and we've been chanting for so many years. Like it's probably we didn't like get the joy of Rupa Goswami or Sanatan Goswami, but we still feel there is something when we chant. We feel different. Otherwise, this movement wouldn't be going on for like last so many years, like 52 years or whatever, since Srila Prabhupada started ISKCON. Yeah, so actually this actually we can know it ourselves, like how much we are into chanting, and how much we are into devotional service. For example, like if somebody is like initially we might just do the 4 regulative principles and come to the temple on a weekly basis, eat prasadam and go away. But slowly we can see where our interest is going into. Like, okay, we want to attend Mangalarti. We feel like attending Mangalarti, attending Tulsi Arti. That means like our interest is going more into towards bhakti, or the bhakti is coming up. Or like, we want to read more of Srila Prabhupada's books, or we want to read more of, like, we want to know more about Krishna. All this, we can know it ourselves, where our interest is going. We are willing to, miss the Friday party and hanging out with our friends and all that. And actually this might even cause disruptions, to your friend circle, or even within the family, because one of the family members might be more inclined and somebody else might not be inclined at all. So all these things can happen. So we can know how much, and this is actually called the Bhakti Lata Beach. So we're planting the seed of the Bhakti creeper. And eventually, like if it is watered properly, when you say watering properly, if you're following all the regulative principles, you're doing all the devotional practices with bhakti, it will actually become into a beautiful tree. And I don't know, in one of the lectures I heard, it will actually pierce the wall of the material universe and go straight into Goloka, where the fruits will come out. I don't know which lecture, but it's a very beautiful way of expressing it. So we can see like how the bhakti comes into fruition. Now all this happened because of Srila Prabhupada, and how he was able to present devotional service in a way we could follow. So Srila Prabhupada, like, he set up ISKCON in such a way, like, you attend Mangalarti, then you attend Mangalarti, then you chant your rounds, you do the Tulsi Puja, finish your rounds, then you take the deity darshan, and then read the Bhagavatam, and later in the evening, before you read the Bhagavad Gita and Krishna book. So it's devotional service done in a very practical way, and anyone can take, and you might not be able to follow 100% all at once, but eventually we can all get there, following Srila Prabhupada's example. So so that's what this faith. If you have proper knowledge and if you have proper faith in Krishna, we understand, like, we can actually get into that that proper mood, or our proper understanding of Krishna. Like if you think about it in the purport, like Srila Prabhupada talks about this verse from the Bhagavad Gita, which is verse 17. Verse 14 actually, from chapter 7. Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya Mam Evam Yapatyante Mayam Etam Tarantitam. This divine energy of mind, considering of the 3 modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross it. So Srila Prabhupada in the purport is telling about people like us. He can get us out of these 3 modes of material nature. But how is it not possible for himself, to get out of it? When you think about it, like in normally, like, out there, people are in, like, most of them are in, like, different modes. Everyone is in, like, in a kind of material mode, even if they're in a mode of the highest mode, like, teachers or philanthropists. They're all in the mode of goodness, but nobody is actually transcendental, like above these three modes. And only Krishna can get us out of these three modes. Even there are some people who are, like, depressed and all that. They go to a psychiatrist, and what does a psychiatrist do? He takes them out from a mode of ignorance. But where does he put them? He puts them in the mode of passion, where they start working properly, or, like, maybe they start doing it better, like in helping out other people, which is mode of goodness. But only Krishna can actually take you out of all this and put you on a transcendental mode where you can actually do this devotional service. And any of this devotional service done is actually can be carried over. Maybe we may not go back to Godhead in this lifetime, but it'll be carried over to the next life. And there is that verse, Neha Vikrama Nashosti Patravayuna Vidyate. And so we understand all this if we understand Krishna properly. But otherwise, we can choose to be, like, we can choose to just not follow our own heart, and not accept any authority, and just remain stupid and foolish. And when we do that, it's like, it's inviting danger, or at our own, like, peril, whatever. And yeah, so this is what, so we need to know, like, this Krishna is the Supreme Personality that can be only understood by following the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and following whatever he's taught us. So I'll finish here. We can discuss more here. It's Hare Krishna. Any questions, or anyone, like the senior Vaishnavas, like, like, would like to comment?
Yeah, thank you so much, Subal Prabhu, for a wonderful class. So, dear devotees, please share your reflections, or any comments or concerns, or any questions. It's a wonderful opportunity to reveal the Krishna consciousness, your realization. All helps each other. Please go ahead. Nobody has anything to add? It's very quiet. This is a very wonderful chapter. The most confidential knowledge, and especially this verse. I think it's pretty much everybody should by heart this verses. Last verse 9:10, this verse 9:11 should by heart, so that it goes deep into our heart what Krishna is really meant for it. Yes, this is one of the reasons this chapter is most confidential is few of these verses as well. Avajanadi mamudha manushim tanumasrutam. Fools derides me when I appear in this human form. They do not know me. I am the supreme proprietor of all these creations. Very powerful statement. Very powerful statement. Yeah. Anybody else? More than the Prabhu.
We cannot hear you, Prabhuji.
We
Haribol.
cannot hear you. Yeah. Still not able to hear. Maybe try now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Uh, I just had a question. Since we were talking about the different material modes, like modes of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance, so like there are several things that we see when the people are in bhakti or when they are doing devotional service. We also see, things like like a competitive spirit between, like, let's say there are two devotees of the same spiritual master. They all want to be good in the eyes of that spiritual master. So there is a kind of competitive spirit there, or any other devotional service that we try to do, right? Like sometimes we have seen that every devotee wants to do their best, and sometimes this develops those kind of qualities, like not like exactly enviousness, but it's more like competitive spirit, kind of thing. So the question is, since it's happening in the devotional service, will it be considered transcendental, or will it be considered material? And is it good to have that quality when doing service, or if it's not good, then how do we overcome it?
Do you want me to answer, Prabhuji?
Yes, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mata, that's a question actually that we all go through that actually, and I can tell you like examples for all right, like many times you want to be seen as like you in front of your spiritual master, or forget spiritual master, also in front of other people. You want to be known. You want to present yourself as a good devotee. So in front of other people, we'll be like doing everything as is expected, try to be very nice, polite to them, we'll do everything. But the real test comes when nobody is looking at you, what you're doing. Are you are you trying to impress other people, or are you? So the best test comes when you are actually, when nobody is looking at you and there's nobody around, what you're doing. Are you following all the whatever Srila Prabhupada told us? Are we following? Are we thinking of like serving the deities in the best possible way, like we can? Okay, today like 5 people are coming to my house, so I'll make very nice rotis and prasadam and I'll give it to the deities. And next day, okay, today nobody is there in my house, so I'll just give whatever roti I made yesterday, I'll offer it to the deity. So that only you can know. You have to ask yourself. Or sometimes there's a competition. What does my Guru Maharaj? I want to do something for him, and the other devotee also wants to do the same thing. But you'll think, okay, what is best for my Guru Maharaj, or what is best for Krishna, and act in those lines. Does that answer your question, Mataji? But I don't think that's you could be calling the transcendental competition. Transcendental competition is when you actually care for, and when you actually care for Guru Maharaj more than what other people are thinking about you, or Guru Maharaj is thinking about you. Maybe somebody at a at a very like evolved level, like for example Radharani and her at that level there could be some kind of transcendental competition. But in our case, we are so much still attached to the material. We are still, we're living, we're attached to the modes. I don't think at our level there can be transcendental competition. But I don't know. It depends on how much progress you have made in your spiritual life. So someone who is like really spiritually evolved, probably. But I think at an ordinary level, it's more like I don't think we have. Most of us have not come to that level yet. I'm just speaking for myself. So, have I? Am I clear, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, like that answers my question, but yeah, I mean, I was just trying to understand it. That means all these things, even though it's happening in Krishna consciousness, like still will be not considered at the transcendental platform, because that is like way high level, you need to say. This is still materialistic qualities, and it would not be. So basically, we should never try to have, or never try to inculcate those kind of. I mean, these are some things which naturally come because of it's a human tendency, like the competitive spirit. You want to do the best for wherever you go, like whether in devotion service or whatever. So it was like a very general question, so I just wanted to understand. So basically you mean that we should not be having those
It's in your heart, Mataji. You would know, like, if you're trying to present nicely in front of others, or whether you really want the best for Krishna. You would know that. So that needs to be
Actually,
asked.
there are certain situations these competitions are good. That's why Krishna is given us this mood of, because of there are competitions in many places. It is mentioned that is the devotee community, in the devotee spirit or devotee circle, there are competitions, and that we can consider as transcendental competitions, because of the devotee, whenever he thinks that, yes, I need to do better than others, that's a good one, actually. It's not a bad one. If I am planning to do better than other devotee does for Krishna, that's a wonderful thing. If I have a feeling that, yeah, I should do better, yes, it may be outwardly, or people from looking from others, it may be seeing as a competition, but that competition is in a good spirit. That always welcome, that's always good. Because of, anyway, you are trying to serve Krishna or devotees. But only the thing is that when we take it as like, okay, let me show off. There are some show off cases, right? Okay, let me put myself that, oh, I am a great devotee. I am, I can do anything, or I am great speaker. I am doing that. I am doing everything. When we put ourselves and putting ourselves for something great, that is not good. That's really need to avoid. But if you have a spirit of, yes, okay, the other devotee is nice, we appreciate that. When it comes to us, we will also do better than this. There is in Karnataka, there is a mud called Udupi. Udupi mud. Every 2 years they change their management. So every 2 years the Madhadhipati, the senior saint changes. So then he cannot go anywhere else. So then what they do, the intention is that when the new person comes, he should do better than what the previous, the person or previous president did. So the competition is that, okay, what I can do better this time. So they have to be more focused and do things like that. So then other person comes, thinks that what can I do better than this. So these are very good, actually. So when Krishna is in the center, how much I can do, what I can do better. So comparing that, okay, our devotee is doing good, wonderful. And if I can do better than that, that's transcendental. There is nothing, no doubt into that.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
There is an echo, Prabhuji. Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay. So, can you Krishna Prabhu.
Mataji, what both of you, Subala Prabhu and Simeshwar Prabhu, very nice reflections. What reflection was coming to me is there is the principle of Yukta Vairagya, where anything and everything can be used in Krishna's service. So what Simeshwar Prabhu was saying is, when that competition is, I want to do better for Guru and Krishna, as Subala was saying, for Guru, what would please my Guru, and I want to do better. So if we can follow that, then competition is extremely healthy, because it will bring you closer to Krishna, it will bring others closer to Krishna. But however, if you're doing it, what Simeshwar said, for your own self, that, oh, people should glorify me. If I sing Kirtan, they should come and tell me, oh, how nice Kirtan I'm doing. And then I'm going to a professional musician to learn Kirtan, then that spoils everything. That kind of competition is useless. So that was the principle of Yukta Vairagya. So much so that even anger, things that we learn, we need to control. Arjuna used his anger in service of Krishna. Krishna told him fight, and Arjuna used his anger in Krishna's service. So much so in our regulative principles, where we have no illicit sex. But Krishna says that he himself is the sex principle, which is done in a bona fide manner. So for young couples, sure, there is physical pleasure, but when that the intent is to beget Krishna conscious children and raise them, then that very act becomes an act of devotional service. And to Sameshwar Prabhu's point of Udupi Matta, similarly, they had something similar implemented at the Chopati, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir. The temple president used to change every, 3 months or 6 months, or very short period. And it had two purposes. One is, as Sameshwar Prabhu said, is to make other who comes in to get more engaged and do better, to keep improving on the status quo. Not to show that the previous management was useless, but just to do things and activities which will improve on the status quo. And secondly, is no one gets attached to the position. So that's what they had put it. I don't know if it's still in there. So whatever be, as long as it is dovetailed to Krishna, it is transcendental. And intent and pleasure, for whom it is, these two things we need to figure out. As it's for the Krishna and the Guru's pleasure, then it is totally transcendental. Hare Krishna.
Hey, Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for articulating it so nicely.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. All of you, all the Prabhujis explained very nicely. And I think the main thing, what the takeaway for me is that whatever we do, as long as we're getting closer to Krishna and spiritual master, so that should be our main objective. So whether it should be like healthy competition or even anger, like sometimes we get up late in the morning and we miss, doing the chanting. This is some kind of frustration and anger. So that will help us, getting closer to Krishna. Next time we'll try to avoid doing that. All those qualities which bring us closer to Krishna are always considered healthy, and they are good to have. That's what I understand.
Yeah. Thank you. I think
Hare Krishna Prabhu, very nice discussion and very nice explanation by Amritananda Prabhu. Yeah, often we think we do so many book distributions, we create Krishna team, Balram team, just to arouse little bit competitive spirit between the devotees. So at the end, we do this because at the end, we see that so many devotees are going to get Prabhupada's beautiful books. They're going to take Krishna home. So at the end, Prabhupada is pleased, as long as it is done in a healthy way. Prabhupada is pleased, devotees are pleased, and finally Krishna also is pleased, because that's the best seva. There are so many sevas also we are getting involved. Like there are so many garland sevas, so many cooking sevas, so many sevas are we do. Sometimes we see that other devotees are like doing better, and sometimes some sevas will be assigned to us, we'll be doing, and we will see that somebody else already has done our seva. Sometimes if we see in one way, sometimes it hurts. Why did they do my seva? Something like they're doing better, they got better opportunities, I did not get something. All these things come into our mind, but at the end we should see that Krishna is satisfied, Krishna is pleased, and if we are not happy, at the end Krishna also won't be happy, and if the other devotee also is not happy, Krishna also won't be happy. So all these things also we need to also meditate on this. Just wanted to share this too. Thank you so much, Amritananda Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. As you were saying, so many things were coming in my mind. Is Gunjan Mataji, we can also compete with somebody who's not necessarily in the quote-unquote devotee circle. Actually, everyone is a devotee of Krishna. It's just a matter of time which is separating them and Krishna. So let's say in a workplace, you want to excel and you want to shine. Now, it may superficially feel that we are doing it for ourselves. But if our consciousness is that suppose I do well and I get an increment and a promotion, I do better than the others. And with that money, the Lakshmi that I earn, I would be able to do a nice altar, or I would be able to buy some nice jewelry for my deities. I'd be able to nicely provide for what I think is my family, but actually it's Krishna's family and I'm just a caretaker of them. Then that very act becomes devotional service. So this thing of competition, and the best competition that we can have is with ourselves, with our anarthas, with our mind. A simple example is when we are chanting. The mind is competing with us to pull us away. Maya Devi is competing to pull our mind away. So at that time, we should be very firm and aggressive in our competition, that I need to focus. So competing with ourselves will help us improve our sadhana, will help us have our realizations, will help us, engage in more service, understand subject matter better. Sorry. Yes. Thank you.
I think
That was very good,
Jagadish,
Prabhuji.
Jagadish Sinha Prabhu, you were trying to say something? Was Anika Pujari still there? Okay. Also, there was a second part of that question, Madaji, right? Gunjan Madaji, that how to overcome. I mean, didn't get that clear. You are okay with that? All the questions, all the answers?
Hari Krishna Prabhuji, yeah, Prabhuji, very beautifully answered, like by everyone, like very, very nice points. And yeah, I think since it's considered healthy, right? So that automatically answers my second question. We don't need to really overcome as long as it's happening for Krishna. Even
Yes.
though it is considered like anger, frustration, competition is not considered like, like a mode of goodness, like, but still, when it is done in context of Krishna or to get closer to Krishna, then automatically it becomes good, right? So we don't need to kind of overcome it. That means it's good to have those qualities.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah. Even that is transcendental too. It's not in mode of goodness, passion, or anything, but that is also transcendental. That's mood itself. Let me do better service to Krishna. Yeah.
Correct, Prabhuji. Yes, very nicely explained. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Okay, wonderful. Anything else? Anybody?
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to all senior devotees, Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Mataji, I think Meenakshi Mataji. Is it Meena Devi Leela Mataji? Is it Gunjan Mataji? Is it Meena Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Gunjan. My name is Gunjan.
Gunjan. Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, this was very good explanation what all Subal Prabhu gave and Simeshwar Prabhu gave and also Amritanand Prabhu gave. The thing when Amritanand Prabhu was saying about the mind, it's a play of mind game. It's an illusion Maya game which plays us and always it makes us to like sometimes it takes us to the higher level and sometimes we fall down also. The thing is we should not depend on all this Maya. Just once we leave this, when we realize ourselves, self realization, then we'll know like what is good and what is bad and we won't even come into that. If somebody scolds also, we don't even feel, that body doesn't feel anything that time. Like, so the seva, if this is all illusion, what we are seeing everything, it's an illusion. If you go into the transcendental way, this is all an illusion. Just doing in a grand way or in a very poor way, that is not considered anything. The thing is where the bhav and the bhakti love for God is there. Like with one leaf also, he accepts. Yes, I just want to share, Prabhuji. I'm very, I'm Dasa Nidas. I'm servant of all your Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just I want to add to that.
Thank you.
Jai Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much. It's so good to hear like from all the senior Vaishnavas. Like thank you so much for enlightening me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji, for your realization. Wonderful.
Simeshwar Prabhu,
Yes, Prabhuji.
today is also a very nice day. It is Mataji's both spiritual initiation as well as her biological birthday, Satyabhama Mataji.
Mataji.
So
Yeah,
I
Mataji.
guess we can all greet her
Sure,
with
sure. Yeah,
very warm.
Mataji texted me also, and that was nice.
Just remember.
I was thinking of, yes, just let's all together. This is a spiritual birth as well. So not only material but spiritual as well. That's very auspicious, especially on the day of disappearance day of Srila Jiva Goswami. Yesterday was Lochana Das Thakur disappearance day. Appearance day. Yeah. So let us pray together. Let's everybody bless together. Satyabhama Mataji, are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. What a wonderful day, Mataji. Both
Yeah,
comes.
and it happened like 2 years back at Atlanta Temple.
Sorry?
It happened in Atlanta Temple.
It happened in Orlando, spiritual incident. Okay. I mean, that's very rare, you know. I was amazed, even the material and spiritual births comes together, you know.
We were waiting for the date, like when
Oh,
Guru
you
Maharaj gave the initiation, and finally it came on 4th of January, and it was my birthday. And lots of our congregation devotees were there, and it was wonderful that time.
Yeah, that's what it is, you know. So for devotees, there is no special, no, we don't need to worry much about it. It all happens accordingly. Spiritual way, it all comes according to the will of the Lord. So that's very nice. So let's all bless and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra together. Hare Krishna to you,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
to you. Hare Krishna, dear Satyabhama Mataji. Hare Krishna to you. May you
May you
never take birth again. May you never take birth again.
And go back
Back to Lord.
Haribo.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna.
Daji is very a staunch devotee, always very enthusiastic.
I am just under training, Prabhuji. I'm just watching all senior Vaishnavas. Our congregation is really amazing.
Yep. Sincerely and selflessly, that's a word I can use. Very selflessly serving the devotees and Krishna, and wherever there is Krishna Kada, Mataji is there at the first. Wherever. So Mataji, you are on the top. You are on the
No,
first.
Prabhuji, no. I'm at the
You are
lotus
the
feet of all Vaishnavas. I'm just learning, trying to just get it, the things.
a leading devotee. Everybody can compete with Mataji. Still, Mataji will be first.
Not like that, Prabhuji.
Especially chanting. Prabhu.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
and chanting and
Japa is so nice. Mataji's japa is
Yeah,
so
today
nice.
I was in the temple today, in the afternoon. So Satyabhama Mataji was there by herself with kids. By chance, me and Mukta Mataji went there. So
Oh,
we
is there? Okay.
it was so nice to hear Kirtan from her, and then it was so nice. She's so enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Been learning from her, like, even you are by yourself, just be your, praise Lord and sing Lord and like do Kirtan. It was so majestic moment she created for all of us. It was so
Was
nice to hear from her.
special. You made my day special. It was one. Prabhuji, one thing happened. Like Pushpapani Mataji came after Kirtan was over, and I just told her it's my birthday, Mataji, and she came with the garland. And which garland we just made on Friday. Me and Priya Mataji, we just made that garland. I got Radharani's garland. I was so happy. And wonderful Prasad, Rajbhog Prasad was there. Priya Saki Mataji made. And she said, today is my first Rajbhog in this new year. And very special Prasad it was. So today was a really nice day. And then evening, kids made pizza and Manchurian and cheesecake and all that. So today,
Hey, boy.
it's relaxed day for me.
very
Just like
special.
Queen, I'm
Very
sitting.
special. Lots of blessings. That's very good, Mataji. Thank you. Keep continue. Keep going. No. What is called? Sometimes we think that okay, am I, should I do like this way? Should I do that way? You're doing very well. So thank you. Keep
Thank you
continue.
so much for your
Keep going.
association, Prabhuji. You started this and we are getting so
Yeah.
much knowledge. Every day, we are just updating our knowledge. It's really good. Thank you all Vaishnavas. Like, very nice. We are really blessed. We can't
Yeah,
say in one word, very blessed.
wonderful. Anything else? Anybody else like to add? Yeah. So as anybody? Okay. So as we say, please join. Don't miss. This is a very rare, very rare opportunity as we are human on this planet. And I was speaking last night with a devotee. The devotee is planning to go to and join another temple. So called me and mentioned that I'm leaving and said to me that it touched me actually. Said, Oji, if I wanted to go and make money, I can go out and do the some work and I can make the money. But I want to be in the service. Want to do the service to the Lord. Yes, we had some good conversation and mentioned that yes, भगवान का सेवा करना का मौका ऐसा नहीं सबको नहीं मिलता है. We don't get that. Everybody won't get that opportunity. सबको नहीं मिलता है. So it's very important that if you have some opportunity, grab it, take it. And Krishna is telling to Arjuna in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita says that this is the will of the providence. This is the will. It's not that we do something, we make something. No, this all goes beyond our mental speculative level or perceptions. There is a truth. That truth is actually brought up to this point that chant the holy name in association of devotees is not ordinary. This goes beyond these modes of all our attachments or everything. But still we see that, yes, yeah, there is some, this is that way, this way, that devotee, this devotee. He is top, he is senior, I am junior, I am male, I am female. All these are there. but it is, even if it is a fire covered with little ashes on top of it, but still is a fire. Still it is the this is the all arrangement of the Lord. This is all His will. Is all His desire that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu foreseen that Srila Prabhupada would come, right? So like that, it's all arranged. It's all pre-arranged. All these opportunities to talk morning in the Srimad Bhagavatam class, evening Bhagavad Gita class, chanting, and together devotees comes together and they are sharing their realization, opening their heart. This is nothing but a sangha of the devotees, sangha of where the sangha means Krishna is there at the center. Krishna is hearing, Krishna is present. All the devotees' heart. In the Bhagavatam, in the name, Krishna is there, everything, in everywhere. So it's so wonderful. So don't miss the opportunity that we have as long as we are here on this planet, and don't miss out any opportunity. So thank you so much. So let's conclude today's session. If there is nothing else, yeah. So vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa evacha abhidana
Namo Namaha.
Vishnu Jai. Mera Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nanda
Jai.
Vaishnavanda ki jai.
Jai.
Guru Premanandi Hari
Hari
Hari.
Hari Bol.
Thank you.